Welcome into yet another game, and in red we have RandomCivil, also known, well, better known as the Viper, and he's going to be playing random, of course, and he's going to be up as Franks. In the blue we have a CKF, Air M Abu, who we have seen recently, and I believe we actually saw a Viper Air game recently. I think it would have been one over the last week, and I think you should remember it fairly closely. If not, Air 1, he fought it really well, and Viper just couldn't hold it off. So that's it there, and I believe it was Random Civilization for both of them. And this is from another set, so this is just a fresh set, and we'll see if Viper's ready to actually take on Air this time. So, could be interesting, could see a different type of game, especially considering we've got an Aztec versus Franks matchup. Franks, we know, very, very powerful knights have got with them. Essentially, they skip bloodlines because, of course, they do get 20% more HP on their knights. So, essentially, as soon as you get a knight out, it's just having free bloodlines. And then, naturally, as you go up in the levels, the 20% becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, until you end up with just some badass paladins. And what do we have down over here? Yes, Aztecs. Pretty good civilization overall. Very heavy infantry. Of course, they get that +4 in the tech. Siege Onigers available to them, so they can do a lot of damage with them. Can't remember, though, if they get... I think it's Siege Engineers, isn't it, where they get the +1? Can't remember exactly if they get that or not. But still, overall, pretty decent civilization. Of course, they don't get knights, they get the Eagle Warriors and things like that. Eagle Warriors as well, 60 hit points, but +4 attack instead of 100 hit points. It's kind of interesting to debate there. You can say that the mines do have the best raiding Eagle Warrior out of that, but the Aztec ones probably are better in a straight up fight. It's kind of hard to judge up. Actually, post in the comments, which one do you think is better to use? Would you rather have the +4 attack or the +40 hit points? Let me know on that one. That's going to be an interesting one actually to see the results. So, what do we see? We see that there are already 5 villages going on to wood, currently 7 minutes 30 in, and it looks like we're actually going to see a drush out of air. That barracks came up very early. Yes, there we go. Third militia on its way. Viper not ready for this at all. I don't think he's scouted it. Let's have a quick look. Has scouted it? No. He knows his opponent's on deer. Don't think he's going to see it. Nah, it's already out across the map. When you combine those 3 militia with that Eagle Warrior, this is going to be a really powerful push. And here comes the barracks for Viper. A bit late here. Could potentially lose this villager, actually, if he's not fast enough. And, of course, his barracks might just not get done. Trying to wall himself in, not getting there in time. And, of course, being pushed away from this barracks. And delaying that barracks up time is really going to hurt Viper, actually, because it means he's not going to be able to get an archer or something else up now, which means this drush has really been worth it. So until this barracks goes up, there won't be any archeries out, there won't be a stable out, etc, etc. And there we go, the wall off from Viper there, walling his villager in there to get that barracks up just in time. Brilliant play by him, and these militia here could actually die to this town centre if he's not careful. Losing quite a few there, actually, a little bit more than he probably should have. And this villager getting caught out of place and fighting uphill. It's going to be an interesting one. Stable going down for a Viper, of course, because he's going to be able to use scouts. And then as soon as he goes up to Castle Age, he's going to be able to use the same stable to get some knights out. Sounds like a smart idea. Wouldn't be surprised, actually, if we see him go for an archer range as well. Scout skirmishes can be a really good combination. Scout archer is an even better one. And it's a bit of a wall off there going down by Abu right now. Only going up now. What's he going for? Are you going to put down an archery or... Oh, here we go, he's forwarding. He's going with the double archery and the blacksmith all forward. This is a really hard thing to try and pull off here. If he loses it, chances are if you lose your forward, you'll lose the game, because that's a lot of resources already put into this. He's got these buildings here, and of course once they go down, it's really hard to replace them at this stage in the game. And looks like he's going to be going for a heavy archer just combination there. He's got a lot of villagers on gold. He's got minimum on food at the moment, because he's going to be focusing on those archers, and of course they don't cost food. Archers as well, really good to use in the feudal age because of course they don't cost food, which means you can get up to the castle age even quicker. Looks like these villagers will be retreated back to the town centre or around. Definitely a smart idea there. We do have quite a few scout cavalry actually out right now for Viper. He might be able to clean these archers up really easily if just Abu isn't careful with them. And no, looks like we'll be fine here. And of course this tower just shooting at that lumber camp, because we know that's how it always goes. I'm sure everyone's tried to micro one of their buildings to do that, but as soon as you look away it changes. And here we go on the bottom here, some spears mixed in as well, so Viper might have a bit of trouble actually trying to combat this right now. And those spears, of course, pushing him away, and he's going to be able to use that tower damage to try and kill off these spears. Really interesting and smart play here by Viper. We do see some skirmishes coming out as well. He's got that fletching upgrade. No, he has not. He does not have the resources available. And it looks like Abu has got the fletching done. And will this tower go down? Looks like it's going to survive. Maybe just. Nah, that's gone. Oh, repairing though. Very close, very smart save there by Viper. They are currently up by 100 points, which, in this stage again, it's actually quite a bit to be up by. But of course, he has been forwarding this time. He has got a lot of just resources spent. And he probably doesn't have... Actually, the economies actually should be pretty close. And here we go, forcing these units off. Are we going for more scouts? Yes, he is. Are we going for more skirmishes? Yes, you are. Scouts and skirmishes. Looks like it's going to be the combination of the game. Losing that village there, which means he's lost all ability to keep building onto this fort unless he sends some more villagers down. And as we know, that can be quite a big waste. Skirmishes here, of course, trying to pick off these archers, the units they're good against. And that skirmish there could be picked off quite easily. But again, no fletching for Viper, so it's going to be kind of hard to deal with. If we look back over here, still a lot of units around, and spears have been placed around for Abu, which is quite smart. He knows that Viper has that stable up. He knows he has gone for some scouts. So, having these spears around, it's just a nice little extra defensive play. And moving up with this spearman here, of course, because he doesn't want to put down an extra barracks, because that, of course, is a bit of wood to be spending at that stage. And let's speed things back up while we wait for the action to start again. Spearman here, not going to go for it. Are we going for more scouts? Yes, he's still going for scouts. Something quite interesting, actually. Looks like we're about to see a small push from Abu right now. And population blocked. But still, here comes the push. Viper moving those villages back very efficiently there. Keeping all these ones out. Could potentially lose this one here, though. And yes, losing that one. And it's sped up all of a sudden. Still... looks like they are pushing up again, losing another villager there, losing a spearman in its place, but we know, of course, that trade is worth it. House is going up over here, trying to complete this wall off by the looks of things. And, of course, this tower over here just still doing damage. And it looks like we are seeing a bit of harassment now for a Viper, getting quite a bit of damage onto these villages. Actually, wouldn't be surprised if he picks this one here off. It's only got 2 HP left. But skirmishes still haven't been upgraded, but again, just keeping these villages as idle as possible right now. Because it just gives you every little bit of bonus possible. These villages over here, of course, are not gathering from over here, because these units here are still holding them off, which is a smart play from Abu. He's just trying to, not necessarily harassing at this stage, more trying to just get as much damage and as little resource gathering time possible for Viper. Which is an interesting way to look at it, but it's exactly what he's going for. And losing another villager there, actually, this has been pretty hard on Viper. Losing all his spearmen though, so he could be pretty susceptible to a scout push right now. There's actually 5 out, well, nearly 5. 4 out in play and another one on the way, so could see a bit of damage here. We actually have seen the +1 armor on them, which means they'll be extremely efficient with dealing with those skirmishes. And of course, these skirmishes finally getting the +1 on them. Really important upgrade for them to have, as it does give them 50% extra attack. Really interesting thing there. So without it, it takes so much extra time to kill off villagers. And of course, here we go. And here comes the damage for Viper, looks of it. He should be able to pick off most of these units here. Most likely going to lose quite a few scout cover in the process. But of course, these skirmishes here, they are shooting uphill. But of course, they will be able to beat these archers because, of course, they do start off with 3 armor against archer or any kind of pierce attacks, which just means they're just natural counter to pretty much any ranged unit in the game. And these scouts should be able to pick them off on their way away. And these units over here getting picked off again. More scouts being produced for Viper. Looks like he's gone up with his 2nd archery range there. And it looks like he's finishing up with the scouts now. However, he has managed to pick off this entire force down over here by Abu. All these skirmishes continuing to push off across the map. Gonna have to deal with this fort at some point because, of course, it just makes reinforcing that army so much easier for Abu. This tower over here still going. Are we seeing anyone go up? Abu's actually going up into the castle age. That was actually a good time to look over. He is planning on going up, and Viper at this stage doesn't look like he's going to be going up anytime soon, actually. He does have a lot of gold available, so he could be trying to just save up, but I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one to try and see. So, what else do we have going on this map? Viper pushing up here, naturally just trying to deal with this forward. Could wall it in, could just kill it off with villagers. Really up to him on that one. Watchtower over here is getting taken down, of course. Going to give better access to this gold. Another really important thing to note there. Abu's look like he's getting really heavy onto that gold. He's getting a little bit more stone because, of course, he has spent quite a few on towers, defensive and offensive, and he's going to want to get those few town centers up just to do a little bit of extra damage. Well, damage, it'll be for safety, for villager production, and damage if anything comes in and tries to raid him. So it's definitely a smart plan to get that up. Only problem with this is he's forwarded and he could lose his smith, which means he could lose a lot of upgrades there, actually. Crossbows are actually coming in for Abu right now, having that extra range by a lot. Having an extra 2 range on these skirmishes means he should be able to fight them off without too much trouble. Just because he's going to be able to micro, and Viper's really not going to be able to. Scouts are moving out across the map. Looks like he's going for some harassment with them, and just saving that archer range actually on 198 hit points. Another stable going down for Viper, telling me that he's going up into the castle age. Yes, he is. And he's going to be using that to produce knights. And of course, from there, he's going to just try and kill off as many units and do as much damage as possible. Because we do know knights are an extremely effective castle age unit, especially for raiding. And nearly got that wall in on time. Just a little bit off there. All these villagers again being pulled back to the town center, losing quite a few. 2 already. Could lose a 3rd here if he decides to actually attack it. No, he just wants to let it get back to the town center. Calling all the forces back from Viper, though. I think he may have seen this attack going out across the map. And because of that, he's been able to just pull his units back. And because of that, it's made Viper pull his units back as well. Meaning that he's really just done an effective counterattack. So his economy, as we know, it's not very well protected apart from a few spears. He's got a few towers up now, but of course it won't stop skirmishers sitting at the bottom of these towers. So because of that, he pushed out across the map. And Viper's natural reaction is, I can't attack into this even though there's nothing there, because otherwise I'll lose my entire base. So there we go. And actually, interesting side note, just to note while we're just watching this fight here, I've started playing a lot again recently, hit 1.7, I think I'm about 1,780 now, so I've nearly hit 1.8, so that's good. That should give you a little bit more confidence in whatever I say on these videos, so that's always helpful to note. It means I'm not just making shit up, which, you know, happens. So, again, these crossbows just sitting up at the top of this hill, because, of course, if anything attacks into them, they really do want the attack bonus. Viper hitting Castle Age, and Abu looks like he knows when it's his chance to get out of here. No. Have we seen the second armor upgrade? We have seen the first armor upgrade on these guys. And, of course, no bloodlines, because Franks don't have access to it, but they do get that 20% extra HP on the knights. And what are we seeing there? Yes, going for the chain biting, which means that these knights and scouts are going to have that +2 armor, which is going to make them extremely efficient dealing with these archers. And 2 knights, this should be more than enough to clean it up, actually. And get in there. Looks like he's going for a full surround here, actually. Skirmishers, of course, going to be pushing them back. And knights, of course, just to close that gap and keep them running, and it essentially means they can't stutter step. That Eagle Warrior in there, I can't tell if that's the initial scout. I can't remember if it died or not, or if, well, it's just an extra. Knights, of course, just soaking up some damage there, running away with that, and of course losing a knight is just, they are expensive units. And of course, if you can save one like this, because of course that one would have died if you didn't pull it out and they didn't start focusing on this one. So that's an interesting thing to note as well. Just microing your units efficiently is really important. Here come the crossbows. Looks like they're going to just pick off a few more villagers again, just trying to damage the economy as much as possible. Of course, he's not trying to knock his opponent out of the game here. He's just trying to get himself as far ahead as possible right now, which is pretty much what happens from Feudal. Feudal, you're not trying to knock your opponent out of the game, you're trying to get harassment. Castle Age, you're trying to get harassment. Late Castle Age, you're trying to knock them out. Imperial, you're just trying to decimate them. So that's really a good way to look at it, actually. It's the way I always look at it. In Feudal, the goal is not to knock them out, it's to just severely punish and weaken them. And of course, this ford's still operational, which means Viper's going to have to put up a siege workshop at some point to deal with this, and he's only sitting on the 2 stables right now. And in come the knights for Viper, going to be able to start to get some harassing here. He does have his armor upgrade, of course he has that 20% extra HP, which means these are going to be very, very lethal on the raiding. Because of course they are going to take minimal damage from any arrows fired, meaning town centers, towers, any archers trying to defend, and of course they do have a lot of hit points, so they're going to take a lot too. Could actually lose this tower if he doesn't move some spearmen to try and position properly. Town center over there, going up. Are we seeing a town center anywhere else? He's put a town center up in the back over here. That's an interesting one. It looks like his backup plan. And over here, just continuing to push out. Let's speed things back up. In come these spearmen. Should be able to do a little bit of damage to these knights. Maybe push them off a bit. And it looks like... oh, getting conversion there, actually. That's a very good call by Abu, getting some monks out to try and deal with this. Because as we know, Knight Harass is really shut down by any monk play. Because of course we do know knights are a very easy unit to convert. And it looks like Viper's going to be dealing with this forward now. Bunch of crossbows moving out again for Abu. Haven't seen the elite skirmisher upgrade though. Could potentially see it if he sees this big clump of archers, because of course he knows that Aztecs do get really good archers, and he can't really use their Eagle Warriors until the Imperial Age, because they need that +4 arrow defense to really become a strong unit. And looks like he might be able to push in across from here. It looks like that Eagle Warrior is still there. I don't know why he has it with the main army. Could just be for that little bit of extra damage versus skirmishers. Could be for a little bit of extra line of sight. It's really interesting. I can't note that. Skirmishers are moving in now, and losing this entire forward here, this is actually really going to hurt Abu right now. But of course, 68 population for Viper. Abu on 93. He's only got the one town center, and that's Viper up against 1, 2, 3. Is he going for a 4? No, going for 3 town centers, so that explains the difference there in score and just population. The fact is that Abu's really starting to put it into a big economy play. Lots of knights actually out for Viper right now. I don't know if it's just because, yeah, Viper just does not have the stone to do it by the looks of it. And of course he doesn't have the wood capabilities to put down a gold mine next to it, so he can't really do much about it. Skirmishers elite being upgraded, of course. These units will be killed off quite easily by them, and of course once this knight here is dealt with, which was originally Vipers, because, well, as we know, Aztecs can't get knights. This tower over here could potentially go down as well, 75 HP on that. These crossbows getting picked off. A lot of monks actually out for Abu right now. Viper going to be forced to retreat because of them. And actually it looks like he's collecting up all the relics as well. How many are you currently on? Looks like Abu's in this for the long term. Abu, yes, he's got one, a second one going in there. Is he going to collect this one? No. Not collecting that one yet either. But still, skirmishers, of course, pushing in as much as possible. Of course, not going to try and waste a convert on a skirmisher, because of course you do have to wait an extended period of time before you can convert again. So, going to be a really interesting thing to see how he pays out with these conversions. Even more monks being put out, actually. He's got 5 out on the field right now, going for a 6 as well, so he could go for mass conversion on these knights and try and just take Viper out of the game with his own units. All these houses getting killed off. As I've said, this fort has been dealt with, which is really important, actually. A scout out there for Viper. That could have been a misclick, actually. And here come the monks, and of course waving their dresses at the knights to convert them to their side. Skirmishers moving in, because they will be able to deal with the monks as well as the crossbowmen. And he could actually, it looks like he could be going for scouts actually just to take out those monks. Sounds like a good plan, because of course scouts are quite resistant to conversion. They also close the gap really quickly and can take them out without really too much effort. What are you up to, Viper? Have you put down another town center yet? No, it looks like Viper's just going to be one town centering this game, and he is pushing forward with some battering rams right now. And it looks like these crossbows could be in a little bit of trouble here. Conversions are going down on something, but of course he's not going to want to convert those. These scout cavalry are going to be just be able to soak up a lot of this crossbow damage before they do get killed off. But of course, missing bloodlines are still only on 45 HP, which is a really interesting one. Franks don't get it. Their knights are strong, but their scout cavalry are not. It's a really interesting one to have there. Lots of barracks actually going down. I failed to note that Abu right now is actually going up to the Imperial Age. This could actually be the end for Viper if he's not careful, because we do know how well elite Eagle Warriors do, well, just destroy your economy. These monks over here getting some conversions in. I mean, we got 1, 2, you're seeing 3 converts there. That is really going to hurt Viper's total, actually. And it looks like these monks will be killed off there, but of course 1 convert on a knight really is worth a knight, is worth a monk. That's kind of debatable, actually, because I guess, they are actually quite expensive units, so I would say it's worth it. Getting 1 convert on a knight, then dying, definitely a worth it situation. Barracks over here are getting taken down by these battering rams, but I think this will be fought off quite quickly, actually. Unless there's a massive amount of Eagle Warriors brought out anytime soon. More knights moving into harass economy. This one here sitting on 1 HP. What a knight we have here, and I'm going to be really sad when he dies, honestly. I'm going to keep him selected. So, pushing out over in this section here, it looks like Abu is trying to move out to try and get a little bit more harassment. And that knight's... no, he just died then. I was pretty impressed that he was still alive. More barracks going down, actually, and this is Elite Eagle Warrior. It has been researched. We do see he has got the +1 armor. Going to need that +4 to make it really effective, though. Knights, of course, are just moving around here, trying to distract Viper for as long as possible. With that forward siege workshop, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage, and this could just about be a GG for Abu, honestly. He's going to have to either get some Eagle Warriors or something in here soon to do a little bit of extra damage. Viper, have you gone up to more than 1 TC? No, you have not. It's just one town centering the entire game. Your economy is behind, but you are putting on the pressure a lot more than Abu has been, so I guess it works out. Elite Eagle Warriors, of course, doing quite decently versus Knights until they get upgraded to Cavalier and get all their upgrades on them. Just Elite Eagle Warriors can be a counter to Knights, I guess. But of course, as we know, Paladins do counter Elite Eagle Warriors quite well just because of the fact they can keep up with them. They do have a lot of armor on them, so it really neglects a lot of the damage that's done by them. But of course, once you get that +4 on them, they can be very difficult to deal with. But, of course, only on 200, if not less, stone there. So, of course, it is going to be hard for him to get a castle up to try and get that +4 on them. Viper, again, pushing out with these skirmishes. Skirmish is going to be taken out extremely easy by these Eagle Warriors, which is something that's going to be just have to change. And does he have another blacksmith yet? Yes, he does, up in his secret back base lair. And of course he is getting that plate mail arm, which is really important because it does allow them to soak up so much more arrow fire. Looks like he is running out across the map now to try and get a little bit of harassment in Viper's economy. He has walled off quite well, but again there are these holes here which of course are there for a reason, so he can get in and out. But he doesn't have a lot of army here. He does have a few knights, but these eagles should actually be able to deal with them. Pushing in with even more battering rams right now. Currently 104 population for Abu to 96 of Vipers, so Viper keeping it up right now, even though he's on less population. If he loses his army here though, he could be in a lot of trouble. He needs to bring this town center down if he's going to lose all of these knights. Because of course it's really, he wants it to be a good trade, and I think he's expecting it to be, but I don't know how it's actually going to end. He has dealt with most of these Eagle Warriors actually, but could lose quite a few more if he's not. Because of course his opponent has a lot of barracks out here. He's going to be able to reinforce really quickly, whereas Viper losing quite a few units, and it looks like this town center is going to go down. I don't think they're going to be able to stop it right now. There's 3 battering rams on it, and of course the villagers are defending. There we go, it is down, so just Viper putting on the pressure right now, keep his opponent on as little as possible, trying to give as little as possible. Here come those Eagle Warriors, again, just trying to damage that economy as much as possible. But of course, Viper being extremely quick to react. I don't think he's lost any villagers here yet, but splitting up these Eagle Warriors could be a really big threat for Viper. He's going to lose most of them over here. He's got that +4 attack on them now, which of course means he has got some of those upgrades which are really important. Not +4 attack, +4 armor. He did get that plate, which is really important to get. Haven't seen any attack upgrades on them yet. I was thinking that was a bit quick for those attack upgrades. Looks like he's going to lose this tower here. Of course his Eagle Warriors being able to just soak up this skirmisher damage, like we're seeing here. And of course, it looks like this could be bad for Viper right now. If Abu's left unpressured in Imperial Age, could be bad. Viper's still not even advancing up to the Castle Age. Imperial Age, sorry, he's stuck in the Castle Age. He could actually be trying to take out Abu without even going up, devoting all his resources at the moment to that knight production, and of course just putting on as much pressure as possible. These skirmishers here should get killed off by these eagles. They just don't have a high enough damage output against them. It's exactly the same as skirmishers trying to fight knights. We know it's not going to end well, but you try it anyway. So there we go, losing all those units there, speeding things back along. These Eagle Warriors all getting pushed out of Viper's base. Did lose quite a few villagers here, but nothing too ridiculous. But you got to remember, he's on one town center, so for every villager he loses is really hard to deal with. More town centers coming up though, by the looks of things, which is good. It'll be able to give him an advantage, kinda. His opponent's only on 2 town centers now at the moment as well. And of course, in comes more harassment from Viper. There are these Eagle Warriors again, just trying to hightail it back to the base. And here we go. More harassment from Viper. This gold camp over here is going to be shut down extremely quickly. These units over here, again, just being really harassed, and more Eagle Warriors coming in here. But again, not going to be able to deal with it too much. These ones over here will get taken out eventually. Viper only having the +2 armor though. Of course, not having access to that +4, which is a really important one. Is dealing with this though, has got his forging, I think it is. Well, no, I know that's definitely the second one. Forging, something blast for furnace. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the first one. So, just trying to put on as much harassment as possible. All these eagles pushing out across the map. And it looks like Viper's finally discovered the hidden lair of Abu. He is going to be able to take this down fairly easy. It is really hard for Abu to reinforce that. It is so far across the map. So if we did see a big amount of knights actually move out across here, could be really hard for him to try and deal with. And it looks like we do have a converted knight over here still, maybe trying to steal his genetics and try and engineer some more. But of course, we do have these eagle warriors pushing out across here. And a Viper, again, not in the best situation to deal with this. Could potentially actually lose this town center. Something really, really important there, actually. And again, just trying to keep as much harassment on this gold as possible. So we do know eagle warriors do cost 50 gold each, which is quite a high price, but of course knights are costing at least 75. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out from here. Is this going to be enough harassment to just push Viper out and just let Abu come back? Or has Viper just done too much damage to him already? That's my question right now, and this is how we're going to see it. It's just going to come down to the harassment right now. Still pushing out. It looks like these eagle warriors are starting to deal out quite a bit of harassment, actually. If we look again, a lot of bodies lying just everywhere for a Viper's town at this point. But of course, a lot more over here for Abu as well, losing all his lumberjacks over here. We might actually see the GG from Abu any minute now, actually. He's lost this area over here, he's lost access to this gold, he's lost access to this gold over here. He doesn't have any gold over here, he's losing units over here as well. And he's out of gold right now, he's out of stone, he doesn't have any resources to keep going. Looks like he's sending all of his villagers right now to gold. He's got no one on farms. What's his economy like? He still has no wood and no... He's got nothing to deal with this harassment coming in from Viper right now. Viper, of course, still on quite low resources. Abu quite low as well. But of course, he's dealing with this harassment down over here. I love the fact that we haven't even seen Viper try and go Imperial yet. He's been confident in his ability. He's been able to hold it off, so he's playing a good game here. He's judged everything extremely well so far. And if there was some pikes out for Abu, this could have gone a completely different ball game. Especially with that +4 armor on pikes up against, even if he decides to go up to, you can't, these Aztecs. But still, pikes with armor, with a good armor upgrade against knights that are only sitting on the second armor upgrade, they do a lot of damage. We all know that to be true. All of these units running out across here. Of course, these knights could see them quite easily, and it looks like we are going to see Abu try and get out of here, but I don't think he's going to be able to. We might throw in the towel after this, actually. We have seen a town center go up on this gold mine over here. This area is still looking quite, well, nice. It hasn't really been harassed too much. Definitely a nice looking village, but I don't know if it's going to be enough just to go up against the raw power of Viper here. Putting up a stone wall here just to be annoying, essentially. And here we go. Viper moving forward with that siege workshop. We are seeing these knights again just try and pick off as many villages as possible. Haven't seen that +2 attack on them yet, which is something really interesting. Because of course he does have a lot out and he could really go for that. It could really benefit him. But of course he is just choosing to mass knights at this stage, and of course having more knights is definitely worth, is more worth than having just that extra +1 on them. Unless of course he's starting to pop max, and at that case you just really want to start focusing on upgrades. This monastery going to be really helpful actually for those eagle warriors, because of course he's going to be generating quite a bit of gold with this. Because as we do know, Aztecs do have increased gold generation from those relics. And are we seeing anything else? No. Looks like Viper's being able to push out Abu right now, and I think we'll see GG any second here. He's losing all his eagle warriors over here. He has no resources to continue fighting. He's really low. He doesn't even have any villages on these farms around his main town center. It's starting to look really bad for him. Over here, losing even more villages. Viper pushing out across this map right now. And ever since that forward base went down for Abu, it's just been really hard for him to come back. Again, all of these knights just putting on as much damage as possible. Over here, if he loses this area, this is going to be it. We know that. Once this gold is down, it's going to mean he's not going to have access to eagle warriors. Of course, he's not going to have access to a lot of those strong Aztec units. Aztecs actually being quite a gold-heavy civ. Even they do have decent trash. So, saying that, this is over in my opinion. If Abu manages to come back from here, it'll be the comeback of the year easily. I'll even give it that. I'll name the game Comeback of the Year. if he was able to take it from that. But I just can't see it happening, honestly. Just drumming out these final villages, of course. These Igors, of course, just getting killed off as well. And there's the GG from Abu resigning out there. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video.